When you're ready to bind off your socks, you want a bind off that's going to have lots of stretch so you can actually get the sock onto your foot and pull it up to your leg. So I'm going to show you how to do a bind off, which is a variation of Jenny's surprisingly stretchy bind off. And so to do this with my 1x1 rib, which is knit one, purl one rib, you're going to start with, as usual, your needle points facing towards the right. You want your yarn nice and tangle free, ready for knitting, and my first stitch is a knit, so my yarn is going to go to the back. I'm going to pull out, holding on to all these stitches on the front needle, I'm going to pull out my back needle towards the right, so I've got a nice length of cable to be able to knit with, a nice length of cable here at the other end to support the stitches and give some ease of movement. So my first stitch is a knit stitch, so yarn at the back. I'm going to knit this stitch as normal, and then because my next stitch is a purl, I'm going to do a yarn over all the way, so between the needles to the back and then to the front again, so the yarn goes all the way around the needle. You can see that it's gone all the way over and then to the front again. Then I'm going to work this next stitch normally as a purl, and then I'm going to take this yarn over. Oopsie, I am going to take it. I am. Let's take this yarn over the purl stitch, and then that first knit stitch over the purl stitch as well. So that's a three-step movement for the bind off. So this next stitch is a knit. So I'm going to go around the needle all the way to the back. So it's gone all the way around, it's made a full loop around the needle. Then knit this next stitch normally, and then take that yarn over the knit stitch, and then the purl stitch over the knit stitch. And then repeat that. So we're going to come over, around the needle to the front. So a full yarn over to the front, then pull that purl stitch, yarn over, knit stitch over. To the back, yarn over to the back, all the way around the needle, knit that stitch, and take it over. And that one over. And that gives you, because you've added more yarn into your bind off, it gives you more stretch. So you must remember again not to pull these stitches too tight when you're binding off. So the next stitch is the purl, so I'm going to come all the way around to the front, purl, yarn over, yarn over, knit stitch over, yarn over to the back, all the way around, knit, take that over, and that one over, and then yarn over to the front, and off, and off, and of course you keep doing this all the way along. One, two, and over to the back, one, two, and over to the front, one, two, and this also might be called yarn around needle. To the back for a knit, and to the front for a purl. Back for a knit, to the front for a purl. And of course if you're binding off all knit, then your yarn overs are all going to go the same way, or all purl, they're all going to come to the front, or a combination of rib stitches. So you're just going to move that yarn all the way around the needle until it's in the right position to either knit or purl. So to the front for a purl, and to the back for a knit. To the front for a purl, off, off, to the back for a knit, off, off, and the last one is purl stitch, purl, off, off. Now we're going to leave that last stitch on the needle for when we're going to bind off the other side of this sock. We can't get to that yet because we have to do the second sock first. So I'm just going to put that yarn to the back and then move along to the second sock. And now I'm ready to work the bind off for the second sock. So I have my yarn at the back, because I'm going to do a knit stitch first. I'm going to knit that first stitch, yarn around the needle to the front, all the way around, purl, yarn. This one sometimes a bit tricky to get hold of. I've actually split it there, all the way off, and knit stitch. Come on, knit stitch all the way off. Then yarn around the needle to the back for the next knit, knit, and over, pull stitch over, yarn all the way around the needle for the purl. So just as we did the first one. And the yarn I'm using here is, car's going by making a noise. The yarn I'm using for these very long, nice knee-length socks is Jill Draper's yarn. Jill makes stuff for Sopus, and I can't actually remember what colour this is. It might be, could be sun-drenched adobe. I should have the label with me, shouldn't I? Anyway, I've done my favourite colour combination of orange sock with green toe and heel, and that's a lot of rib, a lot of sock knitting. But socks are great for travel knitting. They don't take up much room or weight in your bag, and then whenever you've got time, when you're waiting in a queue or just wanting to pick up a small child from school, or just feel like doing some simple mindless, semi-mindless knitting, and a great project to do for that. Also, if you're sat in the car as a passenger, I wouldn't advise knitting while driving, although if you're stuck in a traffic jam you can always whip it out and do a few rows. So socks are great as a travel project. I always have at least one pair of socks on the go. I think I've got 3 at the moment, including this pair, which are almost finished. And it's too hot to wear them at the moment, but I don't mind that. I like the heat. So I've got the muscle memory now to just do this all the way along. Yarn around the needle to the back for a knit, over, over, yarn around the needle to the front for a purl, over, over, and just keep doing that all the way along. I think I'm going to have enough yarn to finish this one. I would hate to have to join at the bind off because that would be a little tricky to hide. Although I think I could do that without much problem. She says, oh, will I have enough, will I have enough? Soon find out. Okay. Over, yarn over for the last stitch, pull, oopsie, over, and then we're going to turn everything around. So this ball of yarn comes over here, the sock goes over this sock, so we're not tangled up. We are tangled up. What's going on here? Oh, that's all. I was worried there for a minute. I thought I'd tangled up the yarn before I bound off that first bit of that second sock. Okay, so holding on to the socks, front needle goes into the stitches, so we'll get all those on there. Oh, loop. Knitting this way with 2 balls of yarn and 2 socks, you can get quite tangled up, so it's always good every now and again just to make sure everything's nice and clear away. Okay, so I've got my tiny, I'm not gonna finish that, am I? I've got my tiny bit of yarn here. I'm going to bring that around, so the last stitch worked was a purl. So my yarn at the front. So I'm going to have to do a yarn over to the back for the next knit stitch. Oh, it looks like I'm going to have to show you how to join yarn as well now. Over, around for purl stitch. Over. Oh, what have I got myself into? Now, if you have scales, accurate, good quality scales, which I don't have, that can measure small amounts, you could wind each ball of yarn so that it's the same weight, and then you'll know you have the same amount. My winding by eye, not so clever. But that's okay. Over, there we go round, over, we're getting very close to the end, and still plenty of stitches to bind off. But I couldn't just go ahead and bind these off with normal rib, because then you may not have enough stretch to go over the foot and the calf. And if you've got big calves, you need a lot of stretch. Oh, I have to join. Okay, so I'm just going to leave it there. A little bit there. Okay, I'm probably going to need a pair of scissors. Okay, where am I coming from now? I'm coming from the outside, so I need the inside of here. Pull that out. We have an end! Yay. So what I'm going to do, I just pulled out the end from the centre of the other ball of yarn. And I'm not going to need very much yarn, so I'm not going to cut it yet. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to hold that bit of yarn with a nice 3 or 4 inches tail, wrap it around that one close to the stitch, and then just carry on holding onto that nice and tightly, and pretend as if it's the same yarn. And then I'll just weave those ends in afterwards. Simple as that. And you can't see it from the other side, from this side. There we go. Just going to weave those down and into the rib of the sock afterwards. You won't even notice them. Nobody will know. Well, everybody will know. Everybody that's watched this will know. And carry on. Of course, I don't have a pair of scissors with me at the moment, because I'm outside, semi-outside. I'm on the porch, on a screened porch, so that's why you can hear traffic and birds and whatnot. Bees. There's a bee buzzing near me. Always outside. And almost done with this one. Pearl. Knit. Oops. Knit. I mean over. Around it. Oh, dropped a stitch. Pick up again. When I've done these, you see, these needles will be free, and I'll be able to cast on another pair straight away. No messing around. And there's always socks on the go. Because there's nothing, absolutely nothing, like the feeling of wearing hand-knit socks. They are pretty special. Oh look, I'm almost at the end. One more knit. And last pearl. That's over. And now we have a free sock, except that it's still joined to the other ball of yarn. So, if you're cleverer than I am, Stretchy, you're cleverer than I am, you won't have this problem. I'm going to break this because I don't have a scissors with me, so I'm going to twist it so I can see the plies. Break them singly so I don't have, oh, it's actually quite easy to break. Hey, there we go. Of course you won't have to do that. Okay, so the last stitch you can either pull and thread this yarn through, or you just pull. It's secured. And then this end can be neatened off by threading through the first stitch and then back down, and then weaving down into the inside of the rib. And I'm going to weave these ends in too. So then what you're left with is a super stretchy bind off at the top of your sock. Very lovely. And another thing you can do if you have trouble keeping your socks up, you can work into either the whole of the rib, every other stitch, or just the top couple of rows. I mean every other row, or the top couple of rows. You can work in some shearing elastic in a matching colour. So that's nice and stretchy now. Okay. Then we get to finish the second sock. So now, oh look at this, now you just have one sock left and one ball of yarn. One messy ball of yarn because I had to pull out its innards. But that's okay. So I've probably got enough here now for toes and heels for another pair of socks. So that's probably what that's going to become, most probably. And then of course I've still got all of this rest of this yarn left. I think this is called Leaf. Sopus. Beautiful green, beautiful variegated green. So I can have the opposite of this pair of socks. Okay, so you want to get your needle point. So the last stitch worked on this sock, you want to get onto your needle point. And put my yarn over here. So I'm going to work a knit stitch next. So the yarn has to come around the needle to the back, knit, yarn over, stitch over, and yarn around the needle to the front for a purl. And we keep doing this all the way along. Until all of them are bound off. And of course this sock, I'm not going to need to join the yarn because I've got plenty here for a bind off. Oh, silly me. I do that a lot. Underestimate how much yarn I'm going to need. It's actually difficult to know how much yarn you're going to need for a super stretchy bind off because it uses so much more yarn, and that's what makes it super stretchy. So I think you use 3 times the length. If you stretch out your knitting on your needles, you use around 3 times the length of yarn to bind off. Or no, to knit, you need 3 times the length. So to bind off, it's probably 4 times, and to bind off with super stretchy, maybe it's 5 times. I don't know. I have no idea. I'm just saying stuff. I bet somebody knows though. Somebody knows that and is going to tell me, and then I'll know, and then I won't be stuck with not enough yarn left over to bind off. Although it worked out okay for that one because it was easy to join in the yarn. And I'm still doing a stretchy bind off. I don't know if you can hear the birds singing in the background. I have no idea what birds they are. I know what a cuckoo sounds like. That's about it. And a peacock. And a blackbird. I think and a wood pigeon. These are all birds that I grew up with. So the ones here, I don't know what they are. They're all foreign birds to me. And I'm a foreign bird to them. Find out really. Find out about things going on where you live. Don't be ignorant about your surroundings. I'm going to find out now what the bird songs are. Well, I'm going to say now. At some point in my life. Maybe. Yeah, the yarn over stroke yarn round needle to come around for the purl stitch is sometimes tricky to pick up. So I have to sort of dig it out, pull it over. For the knit one it's easy. Easier. Oh, we're coming to the end. I've nearly got a pair of socks. I might just wear them anyway, even though it's hot. Oops, that wasn't knitted. There we go. And just too. Sounded like a big lorry going by. So here I live in semi-rural New Hampshire, but on quite a main, busy road. So there's a lot of traffic goes by. Oh, next stitch, and last pull stitch. Over, off, and needles away. Thank you, needles. And break this, and just pull that. Oh wait, no, don't pull that. That'll all undo it. Pull the loop. There we go. Pull the loop. Ta-da! Done. Apart from leaving over the ends. Very, very stretchy.